Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. Today I wanted to chat with you about having a conversation with your partner or spouse about your kids returning to school during this 2020 age of COVID. It is a challenge for many parents, and there are no right or wrong answers, truly, in the options that you can provide or have with your child or for your child. The thing is, when we're trying to talk to our partners about this very anxiety producing, fearful situation, they may or may not be ready to have the conversation. Sometimes they may be dealing with their own anxieties, their own fears, the additional stressors that COVID has given to all of us. And they may not be reacting in the way that you want. You may not be getting the engagement that you are hoping to have from them, that partnership that you expect from them, especially in connection with your kids. Be it if you are parenting in the same household or if you're co-parenting, having that agreement, mutual agreement, is the optimal choice. So what is a way that you can approach and engage with that partner to have this conversation? The first thing I would encourage you to do is check the story that you have going on in your head. What is the narrative that you have about how your partner is reacting? Are you telling them yourself that they don't care? Are you telling yourself that they are being selfish? Are you telling yourself that they are distracted by something other than you and they just don't want to take the time and energy to support you and your children? What is the narrative? What story are you telling yourself about your partner's behavior? Once you kind of have an understanding of that, you can take a step back, take a deep breath, and then move forward. And these are the steps I would recommend that you use to move forward. First, make in your mind a very clear goal for the purpose of this conversation. What do you want to get out of the conversation? So what that may look like in connection to COVID is the school has provided 3 options: to online school your children, allow them to go back to class face-to-face on some alternative schedule, or you could decide to homeschool your children. Say those are your 3 options. Your goal would be to determine with your partner what is the best option for your family, your household, and your child. What do you need to be able to move forward through the 2021 school year? So set that goal. What is your goal for the conversation? Then I want you to consider what you want not to happen during that conversation. So you don't want to have a yelling match. You don't want the partner or yourself to shut down emotionally. You don't want to have, disrespect and anger and frustration bubble up during the meeting, correct? So now you know what your goal is, and now you also know what you don't want to happen. So if you start seeing signs of any of the things you don't want to happen to be bubbling up, that the conversation is no longer feeling safe, it's a yellow flag to you that maybe something in the conversation needs to change. And maybe you have the opportunity and the empowerment to change the direction, change that narrative in the conversation to be more respectful, to be more engaged. And how do you do that? So You know what you want to talk to your spouse about. You know what you don't want to happen in that conversation. And now you approach them. And I would always recommend asking if they're prepared to have the conversation at this time. Because if you just jump into the conversation and it is this important to you and your family, you don't want to catch them off guard because you're not going to get the response you want. You're not going to get the engagement you're hoping for. So ask them, hey, honey, we got this information. We have a couple options from the school. I would really love to chat with you and get your, opinions so we can make a decision on how to move forward for the next school year. Is this a good time to talk? And if they say no, say, okay, I get it. You're not ready. So can we schedule time tomorrow during lunch and we can talk about this then and make sure so we can get this taken care of? And set a date and time to have this conversation. So you're not resenting that it's not done with, when it will be resolved and you can move forward from there. If they say, hey, sure, let's do this, then share with them, my goal for this conversation is for us to narrow down which option of the three that we want to do for our child and what that might look like if we can start making the plans for implementing that. Do you agree that that's the goal for this conversation? And they may say yes. And if they say no, say, okay, share with me what you think are priorities for us to talk about. Let them share the topics that are there on their minds about this. And then say, okay, let's prioritize. Which one do we want to handle first? Which one do we want to handle second? And prioritize the topics so that you can take care of the most important if something happens and you get distracted. So they go through the list, and if there are actions that either or both of you need to take, make it very clear who's responsible for what actions, when are they going to be done or expected to be done, date and time, and then document it. Either write it down on a piece of paper, send a text to each other, somehow make sure that you both have written down what those expectations are, so that there are no, misunderstandings or miscommunication, and it will be taken care of. As we know, this type of conversation may evoke some emotion, anxiety, fear. We have family members that are at risk. How do we keep everyone safe? And you and your partner especially are feeling that strain in many ways. So at times during this conversation, emotions may start to rise. And what I ask of you is to acknowledge the emotions and not react to the emotions. Say, hey, honey, I'm hearing, you're getting a bit anxious. Is there something else you want to talk about there? Always be curious. Try your hardest not to be judgmental. You may think you know what's going on in their heads, but just as they don't know what's going on in yours, don't make those assumptions if you can. Try to be curious. Try to talk to your significant other as someone you love and want to protect. And it will help these conversations feel safer and help you find decisions that are mutually beneficial for the family. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.